Hello, everybody, and welcome here to the Wine with Jimmy channel. Delighted to have you on board, and welcome to the final part in the mammoth Georgian series, a country that deserves to have 17 parts of videos on Wine with Jimmy. And we're finishing here on just an exciting wrap-up video talking about the gastronomy, the beautiful culture, the hospitality, and also where to eat and drink in Georgia. Now, when we get to that latter part, once again, it's not going to be an exhaustive list of where you can eat and drink, but some really exciting places where you can have a tipple and enjoy the fabulous, sort of beautiful cuisine, gastronomical side of things in Georgia. Any comments or questions, please do get in touch. And of course, I'll be delighted to hear from you. What are your favorite dishes? Is it Khinkali? Is it Khinkali? Is it Khachapuri? What do you like to eat when you're in Georgia? Have you recreated those dishes when you've gone back to your respective countries? What are your favorite drinking holes in places like Tbilisi, in Signagi, in Tel Aviv, in Kutaisi, and so on? Please do get in touch. You can do so below this video. As mentioned, it's part 17 of 17, talking about the last bits to sort of give you that cultural dive into the country. And the first thing we should mention really is that this is a country which is deeply embedded into Christianity. Georgians still actively practice Orthodox Christianity, and Georgia adopted Christianity as its national religion in 326 AD. It was the second country in the world to do so. Please, what do you think was the first country? Please put your answers on a postcard or in the comments section below. There's the fantastic Aliverdi Monastery. There are loads of wonderful working monasteries to go and visit, dotted in mountains, in valleys. This is the Alazani River Valley around Tel Aviv, where you find the Aliverdi Monastery. And of course, they make wine as well here. Some other key cultural things to mention is polyphonic singing. So this is singing with close harmonies, dissonance, and exotic key changes. Very much a strong symbolic view of its distinct heritage here in Georgia. This was seriously threatened during the Soviet era, as, to be honest, was most forms of traditional Georgian culture. But Georgian polyphonic singing has been proclaimed by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. I believe that's ICHH. Probably the earliest polyphonic singing of the Christian world, predates Christianity. Many folk songs spanning many genres, women singing traditional lullabies and healing songs, and men singing their war and feasting songs. Found all over Georgia with regional differences as well. The most complex polyphony is found in the west, particularly in Guria, where they also have like a yodel-like singing known as kremanshuli. Pictured here, to link it into wine, there is John Werdeman of Pheasant's Tears joining in with some polyphonic singing. Georgian dance is absolutely remarkable to see in real life. If you can't, then please do watch Georgian dance in terms of YouTube and so on. There's plenty to view. Now, as I mentioned, we've mentioned music, we've mentioned religion, but food, wine, and dance are also entwined in this cultural symbolism. Georgian dance has its roots in military moves, sports, and dances of the Middle Ages. The foundation of the Georgian National Ballet in 1945 helped preserve the tradition and increase international recognition. And you can see this actually today because it is something still really proclaimed, even on sort of popular culture today. It is being brought in on shows like reality-based shows where people are trying to get through rounds and win competitions and so on. Two folk dances, that's the Perkuli and Korumi, which is a war dance, are on UNESCO's intangible cultural heritage. The Perkuli is a male folk dance, where the most popular version involves a group of dancers standing on another group of dancers' shoulders. Something which takes years to study. It takes huge confidence and an understanding, of course, deep understanding of Georgian hospitality and culture, is the toast making by somebody called a Tamada, a toast maker. You'll see that happening here. Now, a toast maker is somebody who leads the ceremony, the Supra, if it's a meal, or maybe it's a celebration, a family gathering, or whatever it may be. The toast maker, and there can be numbers of these, are very skillful toast makers who have been doing it for years generally, and they can toast at the appropriate times to make sure that everybody who's there and who's not there is included in the toasts, from the heavens above and to those that are 6 feet under. The first toast is meant for the Tamada. So cheers to the Tamada, so he can lead more feasts as beautiful as this one, for example. And each toast, by the way, there is a drink that is needed, and the average amount of toasts will be somewhere around 40 per evening. The first toast for admiration towards God. The next are for those who are not there or are no longer with us. The toast to the children, toast to parents, toast to love, and there are, of course, toasts to late guests. Now, you'll probably have this at home. We classically do it at our wine school. If someone turns up late, there will be a round of applause or a toast or something along those lines. But there'll also then be closing toasts. And of course, they get quite raucous and they can get quite drunken towards the end. But the skill of the Tamada would to be always to keep that in line with its guests. And one very popular form of celebration here will be, say, Galmajos, which means cheers. Galmajos. The Supra is something we must talk about here as well. The hospitality of the Georgians is second to none, and their love for feasting, it really knows no end in sight. Now, wine, food, religion, and music are all linked, like we mentioned. The Supra gets its name from the Georgian word for tablecloth. And that's because you shouldn't be able to see the tablecloth. It should be absolutely covered in plates and in wine. The plates pile up and pile up and pile up. Of course, that's quite classic. And even if you go and visit a winery in Tbilisi or a winery in Tel Aviv or Signagi or Kutaisi or whatever it may be, anywhere, you sit down and start having a tasting, they will bring out loads of food, including what you see here, Khinkali, Fikali, Khachapuri. You'll get it out. It's just all littered there, and you don't even know what's going on. I know a lot of Western people are thinking, well, are we paying for this? It's absolutely not. It's a part of the hospitality of the Georgian people. Now, just to give you a little thing around all this hospitality, the myth goes that Georgians were late to the meeting with God when he was giving out parts of the world because they had been celebrating at a Supra the night before. When they told God they'd spent their time well and they'd been singing, extolling his virtues and the beauty of the world, God gave them the special part of the world that he'd been saving for himself. So when God created man, he also gave them wine. And the wine pairs exquisitely with Georgian food. Georgia is a crossroads, the Silk Road, the crossroads here between the East and West. Huge merge point of different types of food, but a lot of spices. And those spices, including things like walnuts, which is very key and integral into Georgian cuisine, you'll find really works well with amber-based wines, with those skin contact styles of wine. And Kakheti and amber wines go great with things like lobio stew, rich, hearty stews, and so on. Further afield, we've got the Kantsi that you see here. These are the drinking horns used in traditional supras. Many of them are made from goat or ram horns, usually with a silver cuffing and chain, and traditionally used to hang the horn from the sword belts, but today to hang it on the wall. Only wine or chacha, which is a spirit made from grape, may be drunk from a Kantsi. And after toasting with a Kantsi, you must drink the horn's entire contents, as you can't put it down without spilling. And that's very classic, not just with Georgians, but with also ancient Greek and Roman times as well. So it's something to be passed around. You can't put it down because it will spill. The food. So lots of fresh herbs are used in Georgian cooking, and walnuts, like I mentioned. Walnut sauce wrapped with aubergines is quite classic. Walnut sauce on tomato and cucumber salad. Oh, a Georgian salad has walnut within it with lots of big hearty beef tomatoes. Other seasonings include the likes of ajika, which is a spice mix made from red peppers and chilies, garlics, and other spices. Khinkali, which is a sour plum sauce. And then the dish you see here is Khinkali. Now, Khinkali are soup-filled dumplings. So you eat them with your fingers. They are twisted, and you pick up that twisted bit. It's like a handle. You pick it up, turn it upside down, and that's how you bite into it. But you must be careful because it does have liquid in the inside. You will find vegetable-based ones, mushrooms, for example, spinach. You can find pork, chicken as well. There's also Khinkali, which is made with the red wine Saparavi, when the dumplings are this reddish colour and served with walnuts. My record is 12 of those in a setting. They are huge, by the way. They're kind of almost the size of let's say a child's fist sort of size. I don't know why that came to my head, but there you are. I've got young children, so there's lots of that going on in our household. They're quite hearty, and I would say most people would have 2 or 3, but stick to that amount. Very much a staple is the original stuffed crust pizza, which is Khachapuri. Khachapuri is basically like a bread filled with cheese, different types of cheese depending on where you are. There's a very standard one to the left-hand side. But there are other styles. There's Imeretium, which is where you have cheese in the middle. And then Ajarian, which I love on the right-hand side, which is a boat-shaped style with the egg on top. Brilliant for dipping into. What you do is start picking away at the crust on the outside and dipping into, which is just absolutely wonderful. This should be the centerpiece, really, of any kind of informal meeting, but any kind of Supra should have Khachapuri based in its lineup. Khinkali as well, that you see here. So these are kind of like terrine dip type things, which are based on spinach or aubergine or walnut, beetroot as well, and often served with cornbread. They are very classic. There's lots of Khinkali platters, for example, which you can get as sharing platters. Lobio bean stew, very important in the area. So this served in a pot or sometimes in hollowed out bread, a bit like an empanada sort of style you can find. That's more actually lobiani, which is khachapuri or like an empanada, sometimes filled with beans. Other dishes you might find is chehmeruli, which is chicken and garlic with walnut sauce. Ajap sandali, which is stewed aubergines, peppers, tomatoes, and onions, a little bit similar to a ratatouille. And jonjoli as well, which is pickled jonjoli flowers served as a side dish or starter. Something sweeter, chushkeller, that you see here. These are often found on tastings or certainly supplementary sweet treats. Shushkeller are sometimes called Georgian Snickers because they are walnuts covered in grape juice that you see here. So very sweet and nutty, but can work well with those semi-sweet white wines found across the classic parts of Georgia. And look out for cheeses, salty cheeses out here, mountain cheeses as well. Places to eat. Now, the first places are in Kakheti. So this is Signagi. You must visit John Okros restaurant called Okros, as you'll see here. It's a real gem. It's in a beautiful place, which is Signagi. It's up a tower, so you'll actually have brilliant views, like you can see here. Must visit to go here. Traditional cuisine. You can see some khachapuri already on the bread, on the table there on in your picture. Pheasant's Tears in Signagi as well. A bit more of a mecca, a bit more of a sort of a a destination for many. It's managed by Gia Rokeshvili, sourcing local ingredients. At least it was managed by him when I was there last. But also bringing in sort of a mixture of modernization to it, but very much focusing on tradition. Very warm, inviting. I've had a couple of meals here with John Verdeman, for example, and it's just a fantastic place to eat. Food from stews, fresh salads, to fermented dishes, all those classics, you name it, you'll find it. And also their restaurant at the winery is called the Crazy Pomegranate. It must be booked for a minimum of 10 people per table. It's kind of on demand, so it opens as and when. It's often for a lot of people coming as groups and tradespeople in wine, for example, but it's another great place to enjoy food. In Tbilisi, the capital city, there is a place called the Restaurant Archive or Archive, and the Georgian chef Levan Kobiashvili researched historical books and traveled around Georgia, key regions and villages to really find the key dishes to create for this restaurant, set in a brilliant setting. So it's in a museum underground in the cellars. You can see it in the background of your picture here. So it's gorgeous because you walk through the cellar, the kind of museum first, and then go to your table. The wine list is created by a friend of mine, which is Jaba Jimis-Charashvili, and he was crowned Sommelier of the Year a few years back. And the wine list here is phenomenally strong. Some absolute gems and some classics as well, and great food. So really worth visiting. Next up, Salo Bebia. It's clicked a little bit too far on here. Here you go. One of my staple go-tos, often for lunch. Very authentic Georgian dining experience. It's in the heart of the city. Nice atmosphere here. Service is okay, but the food is fantastic in this area. The jonjoli salad, plum sorbet, fantastic. The beans are really good. It's kind of almost like their focus is beans. The lobio is fantastic, and lobiani as well. So really well worth visiting here. The wine list is strong, not as strong as other places, but a good place. And one of my newer discoveries on my last visit, which is Veneto Wine Boutique. Some of my students work here. So it's a boutique hotel, restaurant and wine cellar. You'll see the wine cellar there in your picture. The property is situated in a historical 19th century building with stained glass windows, 2 terraces and a lounge area. It's winner of a lot of awards, and it's quite beautiful to stay here. But they do private tastings and some older wines and less available wines found here as well. Some really well-aged expressions. Across in Imereti in Kutaisi, look out for the Sisters restaurant on the edge of the Central Park. It's probably one of Kutaisi's best restaurants, and it's got beautiful vintage decor and styling here. I think it really epitomizes how Imereti is very different to the East, for example, paying homage to the old building, using antiques from their village in Lechkulmi, with beautiful floors, soaring ceilings here. And it's a well-known hotspot for brilliant folk music and solo musicians in and out of season, and also things like polyphonic singing. So a lot of the events here can go on to 2 in the morning. That's on Polyphonic Street, well worth it when you're in Kutaisi. And a wine bar to drink. There are many great places to drink. Of course, some of you would have been to 8,000 Vintages. There's a number of those across. There's the Gavino Underground. You've only got to look online for top places to drink. But I think one that's really relevant at the minute is the Warehouse at Stamba in Tbilisi, just down from the Fissa Hotel. And this has a list including brilliant Georgian, but around the world and hard to find wines. It's a great place to sort of just give you a comparison. If you are thinking, okay, I'm really enjoying these Georgian wines, but where do they sit with other skin contact wines in the world? This is a great place to sort of investigate that, where you can try, I don't know, a Josko Gravna alongside a really great Pheasant's Tears, and that list can go on and on. A really exciting place to put that into practice. So that is Warehouse at Stamba in Tbilisi. Well, that brings the Georgian series to an end, all 17 parts, a lot of content. I hope it's given you a lot of interest about going out to Georgia. Perhaps you're already planning that, and understanding the wines and the places and the people and the culture and the heritage, the history. Please leave your comment and question below if you have anything regarding this presentation or any of the series. And please get in touch via social media if you have any other comments or questions. You'll find that detail there. Make sure you click like and subscribe. If in the UK, come and say hello and come and join me for a glass or bottle. I've been Jimmy Smith. Ciao for now. Goodbye.